Monster Melee! Bronze Dragon versus Necromancer and Transmuter.
Ladies and gentlemen, boggles and ghouls, welcome to Monster Melee, where D&D monsters face off in epic clashes. I am your game master, Esper. Glad to have you here with me for another dragon-type battle. This time is going to be a high-level bronze dragon versus wizards at this coastal area here. Now I say high-level bronze dragon, well it's because this is not a dragon from the monster manual. This is actually a dragon that I built using monstrous heroes.
But Esper, what is Monstrous Heroes?
Well, I'm glad you asked, dear Boggle. It is a 5e book of mine, came out about a year ago, still have copies left in hardcover and in PDF. 17 monster classes in here. Minotaurs, ogres, vampires, constructs, aberrations, elementals, it's all in here. All non-humanoids, spells as well, feats, magic items, GM material. This is going to add a whole other layer to your game. So if you don't have Monstrous Heroes yet, go grab yourself a copy. There's a link down in the video description. So I did a video just a couple days ago creating this bronze dragon character. He's level 17, so quite powerful, named Vega-Omo. We're going to look at his stats and the stats of the enemy wizards here in just a second. But first I want to give two quick thanks. The first is to Czepeku. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I believe it's Ze and Peku together. They are on Patreon. They make some really cool maps. I like to use my own maps for my Patreon for Monster Melee whenever possible, but I don't have a map just like this, so I figured, hey, let's go ahead and use this one. So thank you to Czepeku for making the great maps. Glad to be supporting you on Patreon now. And I also want to give a heartfelt thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. That's Esper the Bard on Patreon. You guys are the best. You make such a difference. And I hope to keep creating all these wonderful bardic endeavors. Thank you so much for your support and your encouragement. So let's take a look at today's matchup. So Vega-Omo is a large dragon, lawful good in alignment. I'm estimating his challenge rating is a 12, maybe he's a 13. When it comes to player characters, it can be pretty tricky to estimate what their challenge rating is. Armor class is 17, hit points of 176, ground speed of 40 feet, a flying speed of 60 feet, a swim speed of 40 feet, and is amphibious, can breathe water and air. Has a number of strengths. He's a dragon after all. He's highly mobile, as we just saw. He has good strength, dex, con, and charisma saves. Has fire resistance, lightning immunity, blind sight out to 30 feet. He's very powerful in melee. Has very powerful breath weapons. One is a lightning breath, and he also has an alternate usage of the breath weapon, which is repulsion, that blasts targets everyone in the line up to 50 feet back and knocks them prone. Has frightful presence, has wing assault, has curative touch, has a number of draconic talents, gleaming grace, legendary resistance once per day, storm rider, thundering edict. I would suggest, if you're interested, go watch the video where I build this character, and that will give you all the in-depth details about all these really cool dragon features. A few weaknesses in there. He doesn't have any kind of at-will ranged offense. No, not shooting arrows from a bow, no cantrips, and his intelligence and his wisdom saving throws are kind of mediocre. Then over to the enemies. The Necromancer is a medium humanoid, lawful evil, challenge rating of 9. Armor class is 15 from mage armor, hit points of 66. The Necromancer might have some false life going on there, so we'll see about some temporary hit points here in a second. Speed of 30 feet. Strengths has a good intelligence and wisdom saves, has Grim Harvest, which that is not really going to come into a play because that's when the Necromancer kills an enemy. Has some skeletal minions, has 4 of them in this encounter. And spellcasting, that's the big one. And I'm showing on the screen here all the different spells that the Necromancer has prepared. Weaknesses, well, this is a wizard, so the AC is quite mediocre, low hit points. Mediocre mobility unless she teleports with Dimension Door, then she can get up to 500 feet. And very weak in melee. Then the Transmuter, a medium humanoid, chaotic evil, challenge rating of 5. Armor class, again of 15 with mage armor, hit points of only 40. Speed of 30, has a transmuter stone currently set to lightning resistance. I've already stated in the previous video that these two sides are nemesises. They're enemies of each other, and they have been embroiled for a while, and they are kind of anticipating this fight's going to happen. And the spell casting, of course, I'm showing the Transmuter spells that are prepared here on the screen, also has those same kind of weaknesses. So for some time now, these devious wizards have been meddling and causing all sorts of problems here at this coastal region. The Necromancer has been twisting that which is natural into these mockery forms of what once was, and the Transmuter as well has been changing things in very warped and bizarre ways, sometimes just turning things into these lumps of plain gray goop. He as well has been meddling in that which is natural and right and good, and which has existed since time immemorial, and is turning it into his own sick experiment. And the Bronze Dragon, tactically minded, strategist, guardian and sentinel of this coastal area, defender of that which is good and true and just, he is finally mounting his offensive to try to strike down these foes of his. So to start things off, the dragon is going to be approaching from over here, probably underwater. He's amphibious. And then the 4 skeletons of the Necromancer are posted up on this rampart here. The Necromancer is as well not too far away. I'm ignoring these cannons. I don't use cannons and guns and stuff in my setting. Not that this is particularly official lore or canon in my setting. The canon's in the canon. But I still like to keep a sort of internal consistency. And then the Transmuter is up here atop this platform by this tower here. So I'm going to roll 6 d20s. These are the perception checks of all the enemies. And let's just see if any one of them rolled particularly good. Oh, actually, 4 of them rolled quite good. One is even nat 20. So that looks like one of the skeletons. That totals up to a 19. Let's see what the stealth roll is for Vega-Omo. He's got a +7 on this. Wow, he rolled a nat 18, so he has not been detected. I'm going to give him surprise. So this will be advantage on his initiative check. Awesome, got a nat 20, and then I'll roll all the others' initiatives here. Vega-Omo will be going first, and they are unaware of his presence. So, I think I'm going to say that the Necromancer has not cast False Life yet, because he's totally unaware that the attack is happening just right now. Vega-Omo is going to be moving in the water unnoticed, and he has a swimming speed of 40 feet. He comes there. Getting close is good. He actually does want to get in melee because these are wizards we're talking about. All right, I'll give the skeletons perception checks since they're on watch, and Vega just moved through the water right there. See if any one of them did good. A 9 is the highest, so nah, I don't think that's going to happen. All right, then on to the Transmuter. His perception is a 19. All right, let's roll this here. Vega's stealth is not quite good enough, and the Transmuter has spotted the dragon, and he will shout and alert his allies that the dragon has gotten quite close. All right, to the Necromancer's turn, so I think maybe now is when she will cast False Life. I think this is a good moment for it. And she will also command her skeletons, slay the dragon! I think she'll cast a 2nd level False Life and gets herself 14 temporary hit points. All right, we're back to Vega-Omo. So there's some commotion and shouting up there. I think we can say he knows he's been spotted. He will rise up out of the water. He's a young dragon and a powerful one, so he flies up and over this rocky islet bit here, and then he's done a dash at this point. He will use his Storm Rider stance as a bonus action. He will fly up to half his speed. Doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, so let's do like that, and as he goes by, storming energies radiate from him, and this will be dexterity saving throws for the enemies. The skeleton has a 15, which is a failure, and the Necromancer has a 7, which is a failure, so they both are going to take 3d8 lightning damage. Right, there's 19 lightning damage, which is going to be enough to destroy that skeleton and take away the temporary hit points and then some on the Necromancer. And Vega has essentially landed up there on the parapet, and skeletons are going to make their attacks now. Okay, there are going to be 3 skeleton attacks occurring here. Skeletons number 3, 1, and 4. And it looks like we do have 1 hit there from skeleton 4, and it's going to do d6 plus 2 damage to Vega-Omo. Max damage, so there's 8, but he has so many hit points that it's really just a scratch. 3 arrows fly, one of them just grazes, just nicks ever so slightly Vega-Omo. We go to the Transmuter's turn. He wants to cast Polymorph on the dragon. He needs to get just a little bit closer. So let's move him, like, say, to there. Vega makes a Wisdom saving throw. He only has a +3. Oh, and he rolls a natural 2. So I think now is probably the time for that Legendary Resistance. He only has the 1 usage of it, but this really is a key deciding spell. Vega roars and powers through and is not transformed into a slug or whatever it is that the Transmuter was going to morph him into. Go to the Necromancer's turn now. She stares at the bronze dragon. You will make a fine corpse for my treatments. And she is going to cast, actually not a necromancy spell, but I believe this is Conjuration. Big B's Hand. I don't know what that's called in the SRD. Maybe Magic Hand or Arcanist Hand. And she is going to try to have the hand grasp hold of Vega-Omo. So he will make actually a Dexterity saving throw. +8 on Dexterity comes up with a 15. That is exactly the DC. So he barely avoids this clenching grasp of this arcane hand. Move to Vega's turn, and let's see if he can get both the wizards in a lightning breath here. So he will reposition just somewhat to there. He's got a 90-foot lightning breath. So that will be just enough to cover the distance between the two wizards. However, the Transmuter is using this stony railing for quite a bit of cover. So I'm actually going to give the Transmuter 3/4 cover. He'll have +5 to his dex save. All right, here goes the Necromancer's Dexterity save. An 8 is a miserable failure. And then the Transmuter, the +2 dex, bumps up to a +7 from the 3/4 cover. And he comes up with a 26. That is totally a success. Here we go, 11 d8s of lightning. 54. A blast of white lightning just charges right through the Necromancer. We can see her skeleton frying almost through her skin. She is nearly killed in that one blast. She shrieks. The Transmuter is taking half damage. He also has lightning resistance on his Transmuter's stone. So that's going to be cut down to a total of 13, but 13 still is a wound for him. He only had 40 hit points total. And now it gets better. Vega-Omo uses a bonus action for his Storm Rider stance. Stances last for 1 minute. So this is the second time, and he will begin his stormy flight, and immediately the Necromancer must make a Dexterity saving throw. That is not enough. I think she's already going to be going down. Oof, 12. She is already out. And Vega will continue. He can go up to half his flying speed, which will take him to there. Woo, Necromancer is already done for. Dragons are just so strong against wizards, especially if they can't pull off their devastating spells. All right, here come 3 skeleton attacks. I'm just going to roll the d20s and see if any of them are potentially high enough. One of them actually does hit. It's going to be, again, d6 +2. And there's 7 damage to Vega-Omo. Again, just minor little scratches, nothing to worry him in the least. Speaking of worried, we go to the Transmuter's turn now. And yeah, he sees his ally just fried to a crisp. He has 2 more 4th level spell slots, so he will try once again a polymorph on the dragon. So here goes Wisdom. Oh no, there is a failed Wisdom saving throw. Vega-Omo roars and shrinks down into a little tiny sea snail just right there on the ground on the stony parapet. Oh no, and the Transmuter laughs. The Transmuter's eyes grow maniacally gleeful.
You thought that you could overwhelm us just so?
The Transmuter comes walking down the steps. And he's quite giddy at what is going on here with this little sea snail. And the Vega really can't do much. He's just a little sea snail, so all he can do is just slug super slow along. All his statistics are replaced with like a snail statistic. The skeletons look over and they do not see the dragon to attack. That was their order, but the dragon's gone now. Their master is dead as well. Their master is dead. They go here to take a look to see what is happening. Where's this dragon thing? Where might it have gone? And they look and they see their dead master or mistress, we might say, as mistress of evil, lying there dead on the ground. And they see the transmuter over there. Now, I don't know what kind of relationship, how good or nasty it was between the transmuter and the necromancer. I don't know how the skeletons might regard the transmuter over there. So I'm going to do a generalized GM D20 roll. On a 20, I would say the skeletons are loyal to the transmuter, or at least loyal to the defense of this arcane fortress. And then scaling that spectrum towards a middle, like a 10, I'd say the skeletons are just neutral. They'd probably just go wandering off and just sort of be nearly mindless wandering undead. And then all the way down to a 1, they would see the transmuter as a terrible enemy. And just like everything in between, those just like the guide points, the benchmarks. 14. All right, so I'd say they're pretty loyal to this fortress, and they regard the transmuter as an ally, even if he doesn't have complete or full control over them. And the transmuter comes over and he collects the sea snail from the stony tops of the rampart here.
Oh, I have a great idea of what you might be. Oh, yes.
And he's going to be taking this snail below into this, well, dungeon, we could call it, to perform some arcane transmutation experiments upon it. Is this the end of Vega-Omo? Will he be transmogrified into some aberrant horror, some bizarre arcane experimentation, a mutant, a misbegotten miscreant? Or will he somehow break free, or will someone come to his aid? Surely he has allies in this coastal region. The possibilities are endless. I don't quite know. What do you think? Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think should happen in the next chapter of this saga. So I look forward to what might come next. Thanks, guys. And again, an extra special thank you to supporters of the channel over on Patreon, in particular, Lucas Mesmo, Adam Wood, Nick Thy Pirate King, Jared Primont, Locke, Nicholas A., Technicolor Shale, Robert Brashini, Ben R., Till Wrench, Tornado, Agile Monk, James Makala, and Sassy Cat Productions. All right, everyone, that's what I got for now. Until next time, may your adventures be many.